All right. So, this is a recording from stream, so guys. Anyway, so YouTube audience, Rumble audience, the biggest thing that I've learned about the hyena, the R-4 hyena, when it comes to Helldivers 2, is that it's not actually it's not a bad weapon. It's just that there are better options. And what I mean by that is that if you're fighting something like the bots, like you can shoot their heads out with at least, let's see, I think the pistol has the damage you need. You need at least 111 damage, and so realistically, you want at least 112 to 13. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Supremo. But you want at least 112 to 113 damage because once the bullet leaves the gun, it loses a point of damage. I don't know what that is, why that is, but it is. Um, but realistically, you want at least this much damage to shoot a bot's head out. Um, but the reality of the situation is that once they brought out a gun like Sensor, like that didn't matter. Like Diligence is already gone. It's from the free war bond. It is what it is. But Diligence is already gone because Sensor is already good enough. And Sensor is basically the stealth weapon. Like they've got other suppressed weapons, but realistically, the smartest move you can make is use something like Sensor against the bots. Like it wouldn't make sense otherwise. You can use something like Counter Sniper. Let's say you want to actually use something medium pin, something like that. Like Counter Sniper does a better job overall versus Hyena. Hyena's got a slower rate of fire. It may have extra damage, but 20 extra damage isn't a great big deal when it comes to like the average bot that you're going to fight. Now, yeah, we have other enemies, but when it comes down to it, it's like, oh, are you worried about Overseers? Well, Deadeye one taps them in the head, right? And you can use the AMR from the support weapons if you're trying to do a sniper roll. You could use the AMR and one tap them if you're going to lose the loud gun anyway. And the Overseers are like medium pin too, by the way, when it comes to their heads versus their bodies, unless you're talking about a flying. But you still need at least 300 damage or somewhere around that to actually blow up their heads. Because it takes at least 2 shots for certain with the Hyena to take out a flying Overseer as well as a regular Overseer. So if you're trying to snipe, trying to take out a singular Overseer, right, you need like something like Deadeye in order to take out the head. You could do it with the Eruptor, right? The Eruptor. Let me show you. You could do it with the Eruptor, right? But like realistically, you're not gonna want to use the Eruptor against the Illuminates. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. You can, I mean, when you shoot like the mindless masses, the voteless, like you could do that kind of good. It's not a big deal. However, the smarter choice in my eyes when it comes to if you're trying to snipe or take out something stealthily, or at least just take out the Overseers, the smartest move you could make realistically is using the Deadeye. There's no reason not to. All right, so the Hyena doesn't really have a place when it comes to like small mobs. The best place that I've actually found the Hyena working, and the Hyena, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, is a medium pin incendiary round gun. It doesn't flame them immediately, but it might flame them on the second to third shot. It depends. The best that I've actually seen this work is when I was shooting at something called a Vox engine. Now, a Vox engine is pretty large. It can only be found on the cyborgs, and potentially it's good on the not adjudicators. What are they called? The Illuminates when they have like their let me see if I can find them real quick. But the Illuminates when they have like
Ready for another mission, Helldiver?
their big mechs, right? Let me see if they're on here. Are they on here? Yeah, the appropriators. Yeah, so like when the appropriators are on, like it actually makes sense to use the Hyena because you can flame them down while you're firing at them. They die in 1 to 2 lesser bullets, right? It helps, especially if you're shooting at a weak spot. But when it comes down to the average enemy, right, which is going to be those small guys or the Devastators or something like that. Like again, if we're specifically talking about bots, the Sensor is a better option. If you're talking about Overseers, like you're not facing the rest of them, even if the Myelin Masters are there, you're still going to see Overseers. The Deadeye does a better job there. And if you're talking about bugs, you're probably not using. I mean, you could use a suppressed weapon, but you're probably not using a marksman rifle on bugs anyway. Yes, you could use it on something like the not what are they called? The charge. I haven't played bugs in so long. You can use it on something like the chargers. You shoot them in the butt, or you can use them on the impalers. Sure, but when it comes down to it, you're facing bugs. They're so numerous. You don't really want to waste time shooting them with a marksman rifle. And so, realistically, right? And also, by the way, Let me show you. The Coyote has the you want to snipe with it, I guess. The Coyote's got a 10x scope you can put on there if that's a big deal for you. But the point is that and the adjudicator, I think the adjudicator has it as well. Let me see if it does. The adjudicator has a 10x scope as well. So you want to put some bullets down range and do some decent damage, and be able to still deal with the enemies in your area. Realistically, right, these are the better options because you still have more than one bullet going out at one time. It's still not guaranteed that you'll take out an enemy. Like I think, what are they called? What are they called? The there's bugs that can summon other bugs. I forgot the name of them at the moment. I might remember them in a moment. But those specific ones, right? You can blow their heads off, and they'll still be coming at you. Potentially, the fire will take them out, but that's still not guaranteed because if they're close enough, they're going to try to hit you anyway. Um, so the reality of it is that the hyena actually loses out on its actual purpose, on 90% of the enemies that you're facing. And realistically, if you're facing an impaler, there's a good chance you're going to shoot it with a rocket or something that's anti-tank to take it out anyway. Same as with a charger. Yes, you could burn it down, but the reality of the situation is that you're in a pinch. You're probably going to choose the easiest option. That's not going to be this thing. So the best thing that you could really use it on is the cyborgs, and really the armored cyborg. I forgot what they're called, but basically they can buff the enemies around them. The armored cyborg, and you're going to use it on something like the Vox engine because you're not really going to use it on a tank either. Like you could use it on a factory strider as well, but like realistically, you're not going to do that. It just wouldn't make sense. Um, but it's in a way, the way it comes off to me, right, is that the smartest move you can make is use it against enemies that are basically mini bosses. Now, or and if we get like an actual planet boss that we had in Helldivers 1, like the Siege Mech engine, or like well, we have the Hive Worm, but you need like anti tank just to knock the armor off the chest piece of it, so that you can actually shoot it in its weak spot. Um, you have to do a lot for that, and so like it, the hyena is not really the best option in any situation. There are just better options. It's a good free weapon. Don't get it twisted. But when it comes down to it, and I find this to be true in most games where you can put elements on weapons, single shot powerful weapons tend to have the worst ability to proc some kind of elements on them, and weapons that have like high rate of fire, such as the Coyote, they tend, or higher rate of fire anyway, have a higher chance of proccing because you're going to be using multiple bullets anyway. So like being able to use 1 to 2 less bullets is always a good idea. So that's kind of how I feel about the hyena. Tell me how you feel about it in the comments section. And now back to the